What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Bladedancer Masterclass. I am your host, Shadow Hollow, and in this video we're going to be going over the actual Bladedance subclass, the perks and whatnots, and the builds and the setups that you can do whenever you're doing your Bladedance. I'm going to be showing you what I use just to sort of give you a guide on how you can set yours out. So let's begin. So first off, some of the equipment that I do use the ATS Tarantella. I think is a really good piece of armor to get that quick cooldown on your super and that quick cooldown on your grenades. And you can actually also use this in combination with the bad juju to give you that quick super cooldown. But if anybody asks, you didn't hear that from me. Now, second of all, I do run a full intellect and a full discipline with 0 strength. And in a second, later on in the video, I will actually show you why that is. So as far as the actual stats, I run a full armor Bladedancer, and the reason being is with a full armor Bladedancer you can actually survive things like trip mines. I've actually sat there and took numerous of trip mines, and I actually survived them. So if you want to survive things like trip mines, definitely run a full armor Bladedancer. It is definitely useful. So let's jump right in. As far as the grenades go, the Bladedancer really has really good grenades, so any 3 in my opinion would be good to use, although the arc bolt grenade in my opinion isn't as effective as it used to be. I'm not sure what they did. They did nerf it. They nerfed the range and they nerfed the damage, but in my opinion, it used to be you shoot down someone's armor and then throw a arc bolt grenade and it would kill them. So, but now it's getting to a point where you would actually take off someone's armor and hit them with an arc bolt grenade, and I've had instances where it hasn't even killed them, like they still survive somehow. So I don't know if that's because of the new armor. The armor that actually gives you defense whenever you are using a certain subclass or whatnot, but it definitely needs a damage increase in my opinion, or something. They need to do something in my opinion. But because of that, I've been going with the skip grenades a lot, and I think they're really good once you get the hang of using them. And the flux grenade is also good for sticking your opponents. So any one of those grenades is good. Now, moving on to the jumps. If you see my previous videos, I always recommend that you use blink. Now, there is some instances where I actually use the jump above it, and that's only because if I'm trying to go in Viz, you can't go in Viz. Yeah, the better control jump. You can't blink and be invisible at the same time, so sometimes I just go with the better control jump. But if you watch my videos before, you know I did like a whole video on actually how to utilize blink to your advantage, so to speak. How to press people, how to, you know, do a preemptive strike and stuff like that. So if you have not watched that video, I would strongly suggest that you click the link in the top right and go watch that video, so you can, it's a really good video, Now, as far as the arc blade, the actual arc blade, the perk for that, I always use Razor's Edge, and that's really good for sometimes you can't get close enough to the enemy to actually get the slash, so sending that wave along the ground, I've gotten multiple kills with that. So in my opinion, that's the best one for the arc blade. Now, I wouldn't necessarily use showstopper, because if you're that close to somebody, you might as well just go ahead and go for the slash, and instead of doing the little circle wave thing or whatever it is. And Vanish is good in some instances. I mean, if you want to use Vanish, definitely go ahead, but in my opinion, Razor's Edge will definitely give you the most bang for your buck in that instance. So now, going to the perk for the Blink Strike, like I said before, I run in 0 strength. When I was showing you the intellect and discipline and strength, I actually run 0 strength, and the reason being is because fast twitch actually pretty much gives you full cooldown on your blade attack. So with that being said, you don't really have to put any strength on. you already, with this perk, you already have the full strength, so you can just use your, or build your setup to give you full intellect and full discipline, and you can put on fast twitch to give you the full strength, and basically you have 100% in all of them. But if you don't want to use fast twitch, I would definitely recommend you go with like backstab. Backstab is really good. It's pretty much a one-shot kill if you hit someone from the back. And as far as escape artist goes, I mean, if you, that's something that you prefer, definitely go for it. But I think backstab or fast twitch would definitely be more useful in this situation. I go with path unknown, you know, like I mentioned before, to get that full armor. So moving on, as far as the next one, I would definitely either go with Shadow Jack. Sometimes I use Shadow Jack, and sometimes I use, actually most of the time, I use Quick Draw. Quick Draw is definitely useful, especially with the new patch that they came out that increases the stow time, unlike shotguns and stuff like that. If you switch to the shotgun, you can't really shoot right away. There's definitely a cooldown on when you can actually shoot. But with Quick Draw, you can actually override that and pretty much get the quick weapon switch, and then you can actually, your weapons are actually ready and you can actually shoot right after that. So a Quick Draw is definitely good for overriding something like that. So moving on to the next one, and then in the last perk, I often switch between Hungering Blade and Stalker. Obviously I will use Stalker if I'm trying to go in Viz, and mainly I use Stalker when I have a group of people trying to, or a group of enemies just basically huddling together, like staying in their spawn. I just use Stalker a lot just to, you know, get the jump on them, because in this game, like, it's really hard to you know, push enemies that's like sitting there in their spawn, just like camping back there, huddling together and staying together. So I just use Stalker to try to, you know, make plays, break them up a little bit, you know, sneak up on them and stuff like that. But if you're not using Stalker, I would definitely use Hungering Blade. Hungering Blade is very useful for your super, especially if you activate your Bladedance in the middle of a group of people. You can go in there and get the kill, and even if you're getting shot, the Hungering Blade allows you to heal up and allows you to sustain and stay alive long enough to, you know, make a play and get closer to the rest of the enemies that's actually shooting at you, and take them out from there. So that pretty much wraps up this video, guys. That's my setup. Of course, anything in this video is preferable. You can always switch up to whatever you like. You can always customize it to whatever you like. But that's pretty much it. I'm Shadow Hollow, signing out. Make sure you subscribe and like, because subscribes and likes make me very, very happy on my video. And I will see you guys later.